All right. Well, welcome everyone. We've got a lot of real nuts and bolts stuff to talk about in here today. And we're going to have to do this one a little differently because unfortunately in my area we have Breeze Line for cable and internet, and they have been down for 24 hours. Yeah, a project that was supposed to take 3 hours is now into its 24th hour. Ugh. So I am hot spotting it to you today, and let's just hope that this works all right. So I'm going to be working from one screen, so it's going to be a little more difficult for me to see the chat, but you got lots of ways to participate, don't you? All right, you can use your thumbs up, you can give me your emojis, you can give me, you can open your mic and talk. That works. And I will try to keep up with the chats. All right. So we'll try that as best we can, shall we? All right. Well, welcome to why our warnings and performance appraisals don't work. Well, first and foremost, that's me. So that's pretty much my little thing there. That's me. That's who I am. And I'll be talking to you all day today or for an hour. And I just wanted to give a little plug out there with all of the controversy over tolerance and diversity and DEI programs out there. I got my book out there, Living the 5 Skills of Tolerance. Those are for all of you politically correct people. And the alternative title, which was the original title, Tolerance and Diversity for White Guys and Other Human Beings. I thought everybody should be included, including people like me, white guys. It was a bestseller in paperback form, and it's now on Amazon and Spotify. So if you're signed up for Spotify, you can get it at your subscription. So you can just download it for free. I've been listening to it again, and I will tell you, it's amazing. The things I said 5 years ago are now all coming to pass. So we've got to change the way that we look at the world and each other. All right. Now, having said that, let's make sure that everybody gets their HRCI code for today. Today's session is good for 1 recertification credit hours, general, and the program ID is 737447. 737447. And I just want to remind everybody, if you're here, that's great. You can ask questions. You can react to everything we're talking about. But these are also all going to be placed on my website. So if you miss 1, you miss 2, you miss 4, all of the recordings are posted for free. These lunch and learns are free. They're intended to help people, to kind of keep you up to date as to what's going on, anything in the field of human resources. Today just happens to be about warnings and performance appraisals, the Achilles heel of human resources. But if you go to free resources, and I've underlined it up there just in case you don't see it. If you go to my main website, scottwarwick.com, the homepage, there's free resources. And if you hover over that, Scott's Lunch and Learns will come down in the drop-down menu. If you click onto that, all of these recordings will be posted there. And I try to have all of these little lunch and learns all posted by the next Friday. All right? So if anybody wants to show those to everybody, and here are some of them that are posted out there. I mean, there's all kinds of topics that we cover that are there for you. So yeah, if you are interested, go and have a look. Oh, someone missed the HRCI code. Well, let's just go back. There you go. There you go. 737447. 737. Diana for SCP recertification. By SHRM? No, I've been canceled by SHRM. I am a straight white guy, and I complained that we're not all guilty, that we are not all racists, and I complained about the illegal programming that's happening throughout this country, as well as at SHRM and the SHRM chapters here in Ohio and the state conference. I complained about that, and I've been totally canceled. So that's going to be another session that's going to be coming up later, as well as a book. So yeah, I am not a fan of SHRM. They canceled my book. So they did that. They canceled my ability to give credits for SHRM credits, and that will be a book coming soon. Believe me, this is a whole travesty in how we do not treat each other like fellow human beings. And I was told by the head of diversity for Ohio SHRM, I said, no, we should all treat each other like fellow human beings. And we should all treat each other with respect, and no one should ever be discriminated against. And I was told point blank, no, we should not treat each other like fellow human beings, because that impacts the disproportional impact against minorities. Okay, that's illegal. That's illegal. That's illegal. My own chapter was teaching that you should set up special programs for Latino women. You should set up special programs for Black women to help them. Special mentoring programs. That's illegal. That's illegal. And when I spoke up and I did a podcast on it, I've been totally canceled. So you will never see me at the Ohio SHRM conference again. I've spoken there 20 times. I helped build that conference. I was a founding member and helped build Haraco, the local HR chapter. I've been totally canceled. So no, and I let my Addie, I'm with you. I let my SHRM membership lapse. I let my certifications lapse because I don't support racism in any form. None, against anybody. And that is a real sticking point, which also explains a lot from what I was reading and from what I've discovered, why SHRM just lost an $11.5 million lawsuit against one of its own people. And that's just one of the many lawsuits being filed or have been filed against SHRM. So no SHRM credit here. I do not support an organization that discriminates against anyone. All right, so having said that, let's get back up here to a couple things. Another thing I wanted to draw attention to is to get ready for 2026. What the heck happened? Employment law update is posted under my webinars and seminars page. That is out there. It's 6 hours of legal update. And I'll tell you right now, if I don't do legal update every year, I will commit malpractice by February. There is so much that's happening in the law. If you're not staying up, you're behind. And as part of that package, I just listed the webinar that we're going to do for March. And this one was basically suggested by all of you. It's living the 3 pillars of de-stressing your body. And that will be from 1 o'clock in the afternoon to 4:15. And I've got all of my programs for the rest of the year posted. They're all posted so that you can sign up your people. And I just put out a special package out there for any of you in your organizations that if you want to sign up for all of the paid seminars throughout the entire year, it's a flat rate of $1,500. As many people in your organization can go. You can go and send your managers. You can come yourself. You can come to all of them. If you miss them, you automatically get the recording. So that is posted on my website right now. I was just on the phone with my web person this morning. So we've got a busy 2026 year. So you might want to go look and see what all the offerings are. The first one I think is going to be absolutely critical if you want to stay alive. Yeah, there's ways to de-stress your body. And I will tell you right now, absolutely, if I had not worked on this, I don't think I would have survived to the end of 2025. There's a lot of distress that you get when you are canceled. Because we talk about distress. Well, we're going to talk a lot about distress in that session. When we say distress, what we mean is you're flooding your body with massive amounts of cortisol and adrenaline. That's 40% worse than smoking cigarettes. Yes, 40% worse, because that cortisol and adrenaline goes to every cell in your body. It will destroy your thyroid. It will destroy your brain. It will double, at least it did for me, your white blood cell count. Okay. It will give you heart arrhythmia. Okay. It can do all of these things to you. And so when we talk about de-stressing your body, we're talking about managing the massive amounts of cortisol and adrenaline that are rushing through your body. That one right there, you want as many of your people to sit in. You want the recording from that, because I promise you right now that will save your brain and your life. So I'm very excited about 2026. And if you want any of these programs in place, or any consulting or contracts, policies, programming, give me a call. There are programs through the state of Ohio that will get all of this paid for you, won't cost you anything. Not a thing. Okay, now let's get off to the races here. All right, now Forbes magazine. You know Forbes, nice, fuzzy, feel-good magazine. They say that at best, only 33% of all the companies in this country are going to hit their strategic goals. Now, think about that. That's in a good year. That's a big number. At worst, only 4% will. Okay, now think about it. If you don't hit your strategic goals, you're not going to be around very long. Those are the primary goals we set every year for us to survive. And now, guess what? You're not going to hit them? Well, why? Why? I mean, you designed them correctly. You diagrammed everything, I'm quite sure. Why are so many? I mean, 67% of all the companies in this country are not going to hit their strategic goals. Why? Because we have to know and resolve conflict. Period. I mean, what do we do if somebody is not doing their job? What are we going to do if somebody's abusing the FMLA or the ADA? What are we going to do? You better do it correctly. And that's why we're here today. You've got to be able to address and resolve conflict. And if you didn't pick up on that, you can't be in management, period. If you cannot address and resolve conflict, you can't be in management, period. All right, now think about it. I talk to supervisors, and I'll often hear, has anybody ever heard a supervisor say something like, well, yeah, I just can't get any work done. I'm dealing with all these people problems. I'm dealing with all these people. I just can't get my work done. Oh my God, when am I going to do my work? And I just love this, because it's like, well, wait a minute. You're a supervisor. What do you supervise? Well, people. Yeah. The most fickle, the most emotional, the most dangerous animal on the planet. All right. So I'll tell you, it is a major crisis that our managers cannot. Oh yeah, here's a good one from Jim. You've got to address this issue. Yeah, before I said 80 to 90% of the employees leave an office environment because of conflict. Absolutely. Bullying, harassment, terrible treatment. Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you get these people in, you train them, and then we lose them. Why? Because we didn't know how to manage them. It's that simple. Cannot address and resolve conflict. Think about it. If every employee came into work every day on time, which that would be an amazing thing right there, wouldn't it? You're coming in on time. Oh, that's never going to happen. And there was no drama. Quite frankly, I don't need you. One person could turn on the lights at the beginning of the day and someone else could turn them off. You are there primarily to deal with conflict. And if you can't do that, you got to do something else in this organization. You see, you will never have any legal issues with employees. You'll never have any workplace violence problems. You'll never have union issues. And you'll never have morale issues. What have you got? You got an unsafe environment. There's no trust. All of these other problems are dandelions, and the root cause is no trust. So, what's the first problem? First and foremost, all communication theory and conflict resolution theory is based on fight or flight. You can look at all kinds of different programs. My program, it's all based on fight or flight, as is pretty much every other conflict resolution and communication theory. Okay, you got fight or flight. So guess what? Some people go right to fight. They are little devil attackers. Okay, anybody here, you can use your icon, your emojis, you can use the chat, you can speak up. How many people have ever worked with somebody who would say something like, well, I tell it like it is. Hey, I'm an honest person. You just can't take honesty. That's your problem. You get all the time. Yeah, there we go, Addie. Yep. Happens all the time. Get some good hands here. Yeah, oop, that wasn't good. Okay, who is Fight? Well, that's Simon Cowell. Now, I don't personally know Simon, but his reputation is he's an honest person, but he rips you to pieces. Okay, that's a good way to lose people. That's a good way to have people sabotage your product. Oh, by the way, about 15% of all employees in this country actively sabotage their employer every day. Now, most people don't rush into fight. They don't do that. They don't love a good fight. If most of your supervisors or most of the people you know, if they get into a conflict, would they prefer to fight or would they prefer to flight? Would they prefer to run away and not address the issue? What do most people prefer to do? What do you suppose? Avoid it. There you go, Leslie. Absolutely. They retreat, Becky. Absolutely. On and on and on. Yeah, they fly. Way to go, Paula. Absolutely. So that's Aunt B. Aunt B. Okay, now think about this. Aunt B from the old Andy Griffith show. Okay, she's so nice. She's so sweet. And she bakes pies. She's a wonderful person. Well, whenever there's a serious conflict, she doesn't get together with the person and discuss it, empathically listen. No, what does she do? She sits at the kitchen table with her old bitty friend Clara, and they talk about everybody else behind their back. Gossip. Yeah, that's the little angel retreater. Now, here we go. How many of your supervisors, how many people you got supervisors or people you work with who would rather bite off their tongue than tell somebody the truth? They would rather be a passive-aggressive retreater and say all this stuff behind their back. Yeah, lots of tongue biters. Oh, yeah. Well, Jim's taking care of a lot of his. There you go, Jim. And that only comes by setting that culture, doesn't it? All right. So let me tell you. When bystanders intervene, just as an example, and supervisors are not bystanders, they're supervisors. This is their job. But when somebody intervenes, bullying, for instance, stops within 10 seconds, 57% of the time. Yeah, I like the comment in here. Yes, you're dealing with trolls. You're dealing with trolls. Okay, so let me just give you a great example. Okay, how evil this is and how you stick it to people when you don't be honest with them. Here's Andrew Cuomo, who apparently couldn't get elected dog catcher now. Now remember, Andrew Cuomo on your left there, his little brother was Chris Cuomo, the news reporter. Okay? Everybody knew for years that Andrew Cuomo was what we used to call a masher. Okay? He is a wolf, a predator. He would grope the young interns that are working for him. He's a sexual predator. Okay. Now, first of all, he's the governor who came from royalty, the Cuomo family in New York. Okay. Well, everybody knew for like 15 years. Well, he's got his little brother over there. And when his little brother found out that his big brother, Andrew, was in trouble for all this and was about to lose his job as governor and probably never get elected again, Chris Cuomo stuck up for his brother, and then Chris got fired from CNN for taking sides. And it's really interesting because I heard so many folks, oh, yeah, but that's his brother. Of course he's going to stick up for him. No. Where were you? Chris, you were an enabler. You were an enabler. If you really loved your brother and you were going to take an active stance here, where were you 10 years ago? You were probably just about the only one who could sit him down. And simmer a little bit and say, what is wrong with you? What's wrong with you? You can't do this. No, that wasn't nice. If someone in your family is on drugs, well, you'd have an intervention. Well, that's what we do here. If Chris Cuomo had had an intervention, had been honest, respectful, that means I'm not going to yell at you, but I am going to have Simon Cowell's honesty. But I'm going to have a much softer approach. I'm going to have an approach that's supportive to help. I have interventions with people on their behavior all the time. That's your job. If you're a supervisor, that's your job. If you cannot address and resolve conflict, you can't be in supervision. Silence, one of my favorite quotes from Martin Luther King. Silence is betrayal. You aren't helping anybody by protecting your own. And isn't that what we do? Oh, I don't want to get him in trouble. Oh, no, I'm going to protect our own. Why don't you just throw gasoline on them? Because they're going to burn. No, this is Penn State, right? Jerry Sandusky, everybody protected him for 40 years. Oh, yeah, Paula, I don't want to hurt their feelings. Oh, yeah, they're going to feel real good in prison later. They're going to feel real good when they can't get elected dog catcher. They're going to feel real good when they get fired for that behavior. And nobody said anything. We speak up when it's drugs or alcohol, but we don't speak up when it comes to their behavior. No, we are here to correct our own. I'm going to help you. I want you to think about that as we start getting into writing the performance appraisals and warnings. I am here to help you. And I might be the only one in the organization willing to do that, unfortunately. So I'll tell you, you kind of see this passive aggressive, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. This is why Gallup poll says America's way of managing employees is 30 years out of date. It's out of date. You've got to address issues. And that means when you go into a written warning or performance appraisal, be specific. Be specific. Now let's get to the real Achilles heel. Okay, what is really hurting us when it comes to this stuff? Okay, first and foremost, you've got to clearly and specifically describe the offense that the employee is committing. Okay, clearly and specifically. So you got to provide a clear description of what the employee did, their offense, and Present your supporting evidence. State specifically what the person did and what facts prove their offense. Now, what's this mean? I want the dirt. I want the dirt. Well, somebody's got a bad attitude. Okay. All right. Tammy's got a bad attitude. Okay. That's the conclusion. That didn't tell me anything. That is a worthless warning. That's a worthless performance appraisal. Absolutely worthless. And it does you no good. Oh, and I'll tell you, performance appraisals, that is an official document. You maybe give somebody a proper written warning, and then later you decide to make them feel better and give them encouragement. We don't take our performance appraisal seriously, and we give them a good performance review. Well, guess what? You just wiped out that written warning. No. I am not going to enable you. I'm not going to protect my own. I'm going to help my own. And then never state, well, I think, or I believe, or I felt. No, state the facts. That's what we want, the facts. Okay, so let's get to some real life examples. All right, here we got, Bill is usually on time and doesn't miss too much. Okay, that might be true. Bill is usually on time and doesn't miss too much. Okay, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. There are no facts. That's your opinion. And that's not going to hold a lick of water. Not a bit. So your documentation is going to fail. If you go maybe in front of unemployment, certainly in front of civil rights, and certainly into court, it's worthless. This is a worthless piece of documentation. What's better? Well, Bill is usually on time and does not miss too much. Last year, Bill only missed 2 days of work and was late only once. Okay, well, it doesn't sound like the supervisor thinks this is a big problem, but maybe he wants to see it improve. Okay, now you got something. I got specifics. I've got something specific to put in here for a warning or a performance appraisal. Okay, here's another one. On several occasions, Tammy has sent the wrong confirmations to insurance agents. Okay. All right, and that's probably true. Tammy is supposed to be sending out confirmations, apparently, to the insurance agents for something that's going on. But what's that mean? I don't understand what that means. I don't know what she's supposed to be sending. And for all I know, you made it up. Because Tammy, do you think if you're in front of Ohio civil rights, or if you're going into court, do you think Tammy's going to say, that's right, I was screwing up my job and I wasn't sending the correct confirmations to the insurance agents? That's right. No. She's going to say, I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what they're talking about. And remember, we've talked about this before. What is documentation? Documentation is anything that is written down, got to be written down, and delivered to the employee. This isn't it. Oh, now here, this gets better. On several occasions, Tammy has sent the wrong confirmations to insurance agents. For instance, sending a confirmation to attend a continuing education class held on February 17th, when the agent signed up for a class that was to be held on February 18th. Other examples of such errors are attached. Okay. Now, when I was first going through this performance appraisal with the supervisor, she says, well, I didn't want to be too hard on her. Okay. Maybe you should go do something else in this organization rather than supervise people. Okay. Oh, and by the way, in case you are interested, and Tammy, let's say, is going to go on later to file a civil rights charge on race or pregnancy or gender or something. Okay. Where's the proof? Where's the proof? And secondly, do you realize as a supervisor, if you happen to be in a state like Ohio, do you know that Tammy, if she knows what she's doing, is going to sue the organization and you personally? Personally, oh no. This gives me some meat. Okay, now think about this. How are you going to remember all this stuff? How are you going to remember the date somebody was late or they missed or which education class they screwed up or something like this? Document it as soon as possible. Thank you, Addie. Absolutely. You got to have those informal notes. You've got to have something supporting what your conclusions are. Well, let's look at another one here. Okay. Oh, more confirmation stuff. As part of these confirmations, Tammy is to send the agent a map that explains how to get to the hotel where the session is being held. Tammy failed to do this correctly. Okay, well, there you go. Isn't that something specific? Isn't that good? And of course, wouldn't you attach that? Of course you would. You would attach that to the performance appraisal or the written warning so that they can see it. There you go. Now it is written down and delivered to the employee, and it's very specific. Okay, what else did they add? Oh, we just get better and better here. Sometimes Tammy sends the agent incomplete information. Tammy sent an agent a map explaining how to get to the Independent Insurance Office of Indiana. However, Tammy only sent one side of the map to the agent. Since the map was supposed to be two-sided and Tammy only copied one side of the map, the agent only received half of the information he needed. As a result, the directions sent to the agent were totally worthless. Wow. Are you starting to form an opinion of Tammy? Yeah, I got a good suggestion. You can look at the card reader transcripts. Absolutely. There's a lot of places where you can go to get documentation, but you got to deliver it to the employee. And when we got done putting all this together, it was actually kind of funny because the supervisor was saying, oh, I kind of feel like I'm beating up on her. Really? You are not enabling her. You are showing her specifically what she needs to do to improve. And quite frankly, if you do have to fire her later, you should feel bad about it. You did everything in your power to help this employee. Again, you're not God. You can't make somebody do what you want them to do. But you can train them. You can coach them. This is a proper, documented piece of evidence for either a written warning or a performance appraisal. Okay, so let's give you another example. Janelle's conduct towards her superiors and coworkers is unacceptable. Okay, that's probably true. And it is true. But does anybody see any specific example? Does anybody see anything here that would tell you that, oh yeah, Janelle has a bad attitude? Okay, so guess what? This is worthless. This isn't a good performance appraisal. Yeah, vibes aren't enforceable. Good one, Addie. Yeah, this is how I feel. No, nobody cares about how you feel. So, okay, oh, here we go. You dig a little bit, you get some more stuff. What's Janelle doing? Well, she has freak outbursts of temper in the office area, which includes yelling, slamming of reports and files, refusing to answer direct questions, and giving her supervisors and coworkers hateful glares, all of which disrupts the work environment greatly. That's evidence. I saw this. Someone saw it and told me about it. Now, how could I document that even better? Great, I get statements from the employees. And I love this because I'll go in and get statements from employees. They're attorney-client privilege. Well, I want to see these. Nope. It's really funny. The only one in the organization who will never have to reveal their names or whatever is me. That's why you have an attorney do this sometimes. Okay, so there you go. All kinds of examples there. All right. And we can get, but want to have her go back and hold a grudge. Okay. Oh, and by the way, I always remind people in the written warnings and in performance appraisals, if there's something like this in there, any type of retaliation against any of these people is immediate termination. Immediate. There's no, it's a serious offense, ultra serious offense. So let's look what else we got here. She's become so rude and abusive towards others that some employees simply avoid her. George Buff, Todd Lynn. Now, I put their names in there because they said that was okay. Why'd they say it was okay? Because they hate her. Okay, now freeze right there. What kind of stress do you think these people are under? Janelle is toxic. She's a walking pack of cigarettes. Okay, so Janelle also frequently treats Violet Lee, an ABC company receptionist for over 15 years, in a rude and domineering manner by shouting at her, being short, rude. Okay, all of that counts. That now, if I had some example where she's, yelling certain things at people, quote unquote, I'd put those in there. And the reason I don't have those is because the supervisor did not do a good job taking her informal notes. If she had done a better job doing her job as a supervisor, I would have had those. So what did we do instead? We relied on statements. And I'll tell you right now, I am a big, big fan of getting people to give me statements verbally. I just turn on my recorder and say, hey, I just want you to talk to me and tell me what's happening. And they forget it's running. They know that no one can get it from me. It's attorney-client privilege. You're going to have to kill me to get it. But I can still use it as evidence. And if we want to release it later as evidence, we will. Okay, so what else is happening? Oh, she's insubordinate. Now that's a great term, isn't it? Insubordinate. I don't know what that means. Does that mean that they told you to go to hell? Does that mean that they didn't follow a specific instruction? Did they mean you? I don't know. I don't know. So, well, we got to get in there, don't we? All right. For quite some period of time, Janelle has refused to comply with her superior's specific directions to cross-train her employees in some of Janelle's duties. Specifically, on June 8th, 1998, Sandy Tom, Janelle's direct supervisor, asked Janelle to show Kim Atkins, a new employee with ABC Company, how certain aspects of Janelle's job are performed. Janelle refused to show Kim how these duties are performed. That is clear insubordination. It's like, what directives your supervisor gives you are not optional. They're not optional. You got to do them. You got to follow them. So what we got? On June 9th, 1998, he again asked Janelle to let Kim watch Janelle work so Kim might learn some of the tasks Janelle performs. This time, Janelle yelled at Sandy, telling Sandy that she was busy and didn't have time to do this. Okay, everybody got that? You are too busy to let someone watch you work. Really? You're just pretty much a horrendous employee. Are you getting a feel for Janelle? This was a written warning. Yeah, Caroline. Yeah, how is she insubordinate? Yeah, see, this is exactly why we need the explanation. And Leslie's asking, is HR allowed to record a conversation if they approve? Yeah, Leslie, that's a great one right there. I never secretly record witness statements, never, because that destroys the trust. I don't do that. I tell them, look, I want to document this, and I get my phone, or I've got one of 2 or 3 other recorders that I've got, and I set it down there, and I said, just talk to me. I'm going to keep this. Okay, it's not going to be with the company. I'm going to have it. I can let the company listen to it, but I'm going to also tell them what all's happening here. All right, now, this thing. First of all, the average the average employee writes below the 8th grade level. Okay, you're asking somebody who might not be real proud of their writing skills to sit down and give you a written statement. Writing is hard work. Writing is hard work. Believe me, writing is work. It's exhausting. And now you're going to ask somebody to sit down and gather all their thoughts, and their head moves so fast, and to write it all down. That's very difficult. That's very difficult. That's why a lot of your written statements are not very thorough. Okay. But when you ask somebody to just sit and talk about it, a couple things happen. One is the emotion comes out. I want that emotion. And if you listen to these recordings of these people talking, it makes it very difficult to ignore the emotion. They're mad. That is what I want. And it's much more thorough, because what could be a one-page little statement or a 2-paragraph statement sometimes turns into an hour interview because they get going and going and going. Now, we talked about this before in a Lunch and Learn in avoiding lawsuits in 2026. If I have to, let's say that the employee is fired, let's say it's fired, and we go to unemployment, or we go to civil rights, or we go to court. Okay, we get a letter from attorney. That's where we're heading. You get a letter that you're big, bad, mean, terrible people, and we're going to sue you for a bazillion, jillion dollars. Okay. One of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to put everything under seal. That means the attorney can't release it to anybody else, or they could face getting disbarred. And I'm going to send them all these written warnings. I'm going to send them the recordings, and I'm going to tell them, look, we've got your client nailed to the wall. We gave Janelle every single chance to improve, and she told us to stick it. Okay, right there. Kind of see why I've never had a client sued? Let me make this very clear. When I get to work with a client, put their documentation together, I've never had one sued. And I'll tell you, you know what's the toughest part? Getting my managers and CEOs and everybody to be honest. It's like, well, I'll tell you right now, you're going to be real honest when you're looking at $600, $700, $800 an hour to go to court. You're going to get real honest and real mad real quick. And you're not attacking this person. Oh, this sounds really, really brutal. Well, yeah, it probably is really brutal, because that's what Janelle is. All this is true. This is what she's doing. Do not be an enabler. It's your job. And Jim gave us a great comment. Don't play hide the ball. Absolutely. That's exactly what happened. So, oh no, I openly record. You can, in states like Ohio, secretly record somebody, but I don't recommend that. Because now when that gets out that you secretly recorded employees, they're not going to trust you. And that's a real good way to get a union. Okay, so no, I put it right there. And it is so much easier than written statements. Okay. Oh, and by the way, those of you, it's funny, some of you on here, I'm working on you with your handbooks right now. This is exactly why we put in the handbook that all employees are required to fully cooperate in all company investigations. I need to know what you know. Okay. And that is direct evidence. Don't ever let somebody tell you that, well, I got this information from George Buff, so it's hearsay. No, that is direct evidence. It's not hearsay. George saw this. George heard this. That's direct evidence. Hearsay only is in court, where if I'm going to sit there and testify as to what George saw, well, George told me he saw this, and George told me he saw, but George is readily available. He's right there. What I'm giving you is secondhand. So if you get employees, yes, I saw this, I heard this. Great. That is direct evidence, and that is gold. Absolute gold. And all of this is designed to get the employee to improve. And if they don't improve, you've got the best legal defense that you could possibly ever have. And most attorneys are not going to go up against this type of documentation. Oh, here's more about Janelle. Okay, on another occasion, Janelle was denied the use of vacation time by Sandy. In response to this denial, Janelle told Sandy that Janelle would call off from work when it was busy and there was nothing Sandy could do about it. Okay, this was really good. And Sandy, the supervisor, saying, well, can we really do anything about it? Yes, she just told you that she is going to falsify company documentation. She's told you she's going to do that. Write her up. And because it also shows how devious this woman is. Oh, and by the way, whenever you have something that violates policy, see how important your policies are, you attach it. We got a specific policy about falsifying documentation. Absolutely. Oh, now here's more. Okay, so Janelle also continuously commits errors in reconciling ABC company inventory numbers, even though reconciling these numbers is her responsibility. Okay, that's a conclusion. Give me some facts. Give me something to prove what you're saying there. All right, well, instead of researching the situation whenever the figures do not reconcile in order to discover the problem, she allows it to continue. Such problems also exist with payables, invoices. Okay, so where's the specific about an inch thick? There was more documentation. Oh, and by the way, when you have something you're attaching and you want somebody to something on that document specifically, do not highlight it. Well, if you do highlight it, you want to make sure that you are drawing a big circle around it, a big arrow to it, because sometimes highlighting does not copy. Oh, when I'm showing this to Ohio Civil Rights or unemployment, and basically they don't really want to do anything, I want them to be able to see this as big as God. Okay. I'm asking, got a question to repeat that. Okay. If you highlight something in a document, okay, sometimes that doesn't copy, because you're going to run copies of this for unemployment or civil rights or something like this. Sometimes highlighting doesn't come through on the copier. So if you highlight it, that's okay, but don't do just that. You got to draw like a circle around it, a big arrow to it. This is it. And you want to educate them so they can see what they're looking at. Okay? Now, what do we close out here? Well, this is the linchpin. If you are lucky enough to get complaints from customers, I want to use those. I want as specific as I can get. Janelle's behavior is also extended to ABC company customers. Janelle is consistently short and rude to Classic Foods, which is one of their biggest clients, which results in many complaints to ABC company management. Okay, so what are these complaints? They're attached. They're attached. And anything that is particularly disturbing, we circle and highlight. Yeah, it's okay to highlight, but make sure you're circling it and pointing to it. This is it. Okay. Now, think about this. After seeing all this about Janelle, this morning took a couple hours. Okay, took a long time. What kind of chance do you give her of improving? Do you think she's going to turn around and improve? What do you think? Is she just going to tell us to stick it? What do you think? Think she's going to improve? This is very damning. Nope, Stephanie. Yep, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'd have given her maybe a 2 or 3% chance because she was vile. Yeah, she's already sabotaging the company. Yeah. Yeah, she's looking to sabotage everybody. She is an angry type of person. Well, we gave her, yeah, you can't change character. There you go, David. Absolutely. Yeah. So I wasn't giving her much of a chance. But it was really interesting. We were so specific in this. She went home. We finished up at about, I don't know, 1 o'clock, something like this. Sent her home for the rest of the day to think about it. She was required to do everything in this written warning. If not, don't come back on Monday. And so we sent her home. She was furious, showed it to her husband. Her husband sat down, calmly read through everything, then looked up at one point and says, yeah, they're right. You're a bitch. Okay. Better he says that than us. But he said he's had it too. He said, I've had it. He said, you lose this job, we're done. Said, and they're pointing out exactly how you act. I can't take this anymore either. Well, this is actually in a small town in Ohio, Cambridge, Ohio, and there are not a lot of places to work in Cambridge, Ohio. It's either here or maybe, the Taco Bell. Okay. Well, she showed up Monday morning, whole new attitude. Home, I mean, she dressed, came in. Oh my God, it was an amazing feat. But understand, we brought it to the surface. Her husband is the one that got her to change. He's the one who really put it to her. This wouldn't have happened if we hadn't put it out there. And then the husband forced her to change. Most people don't change by the time you get to the written warning, but some of them do. It's an intervention. So you see, we're good either way we go. If she improves, oh my God, you get what you want. If she doesn't improve, you have got the best defense to any claim they bring up that I've ever seen. And it works because I've never had a client sued. And understand, remember, you got to make sure that you got those policies in place so that rely on them. Jim's telling us that he has found people in the past, people like Janelle's behavior. Oop. I'm trying to look here on the. Yeah, maybe covering for fraud or theft. Oh yes, Jim. Yeah. Sometimes they're this way, and there's something bigger going on. Yeah, absolutely. So I wouldn't discount that at all. Okay, does all make sense? Specific. And I'll tell you, your supervisors and managers need to be trained in how to do this. Now, understand, managers and supervisors, when you got a document like this, HR needs to help them. But if that supervisor is not taking notes throughout the year, you're not going to have the bullets that you need. You're not going to have the facts that you need. So they are supplying you with all the facts, but we absolutely, positively have to make sure that we are all getting the facts together. And yes, it looks brutal, but if they're going to improve, they're going to improve because you've caught them. You've got them. And if they don't improve, you got the absolute best defense in the world. Fantastic. Make sense? Any tips if the employee disagrees with the warning and refuses to sign it? Yeah. This is the other part where your handbooks, and again, I've been doing a lot of handbooks. Every single policy needs to have in there that all employees are required to sign all company documentation upon demand, such as I-9 forms, tax forms, warning forms, performance appraisals. Failure to do so may result in your immediate termination. Absolutely. You are going to sign this. Another thing that I do if someone comes in for the written warning, or if it's a bad performance appraisal, I make sure that I say, okay, some problems, we're going to recap all those here. We are going to find out, or we're going to document everything. So I'm recording this session. Okay, so that's what I do. I record the session. All right, so if somebody acts the way that they do, I got them on audio. That can be very, very powerful. Very powerful. I got a question here about, how did we find out about that? How did we find out about Janelle's husband? Well, this is Cambridge, Ohio, and everybody is related to each other. They all know each other. All the employees knew over the weekend. I mean, it's a small town. Everybody knows everybody. Here we got another question. If the employee refuses, now he has to write on the signature line, employee refuses to sign. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. If they if they will sign that they refuse to sign, that's fine. But I have seen that's fine if they will sign that. But I've had the old process where a manager signs, verifying that the employee wouldn't sign it, and they get a manager to witness it. There are civil rights judges that I've seen firsthand who will not allow that into evidence when the employee says, I never saw that. I never saw that. Oh no. Recording it covers that problem. Having that in your handbook that you can be terminated for refusing to sign. Or if they will sign, I refuse to sign this. That's fine. That's fine. No problem. But understand, none of this works if you don't have the specific instances. And that means you cannot have passive aggressives for supervisors. Okay, great questions. Wonderful. Thanks, everybody, for attending. If anybody wants help in these processes, your policies, contracts, training, or anything, yes, there are state programs that will pay for everything. All right. Hey, well, thank you back to all of you, and we will see you next month. Don't forget to check out the paid program. And the first one is going to be March 26th, a couple weeks away, and we are going to spend a half a day talking about the 3 pillars of distressing. And that's a great one to kick off the year with. All right. Hey, everybody, take care, and we will talk to you soon.